All right, today we're diving into the story of an operating system that has, well, lived many different lives. I'm talking about Oracle Solaris, and its story is this incredible saga of technical innovation, high-stakes corporate moves, and a really fundamental question about what software even is.
I mean, it sounds like a riddle, right? But this is the actual real-life story of a technology icon. We're going to trace its rise, its dramatic fall, and then this totally unexpected rebirth into two completely separate things. It's quite a ride.
So our story kicks off in the glory days of Sun Microsystems. This was a time when Solaris wasn't just another OS, it was the absolute engine powering high-end computing. Back in its prime, Solaris was an absolute titan. We're talking about a proprietary, closed-source Unix system, and its whole reputation was built on being rock-solid stable. It could handle gigantic workloads without breaking a sweat, especially when you paired it with Sun's own super-powerful Spark hardware. If you were doing serious, big-time enterprise computing, this was it. This was the gold standard.
But here's the thing. Solaris wasn't just stable. It was genuinely revolutionary. It brought technologies to the table that were years ahead of their time. You had ZFS, this incredible file system that could protect against data corruption in ways nothing else really could. Then there was dtrace, which basically gave engineers X-ray vision to hunt down performance bugs on live systems. Insane. And Solaris containers? That was basically an early version of the container tech that runs, most of the modern cloud today. These weren't small steps. They were massive leaps.
But then, in a really dramatic shift, Sun decided to do something pretty radical. They decided to open up their crown jewel for the whole world to see. So you can see just how dramatically the whole philosophy behind Solaris shifted. For over a decade, it's this traditional closed-source product. Then, bam! In 2005, Sun makes this huge move. They were feeling the heat from Linux, so they launched the Open Solaris project, throwing the code open to build a community and hopefully spark some new ideas. But that didn't last long. Just 5 years later, Oracle buys Sun, immediately shuts down the project, and slams the door shut, locking the code away again. Just like that, the open experiment was over.
Yeah, that 2010 acquisition by Oracle, that marks the single biggest turning point in the entire Solaris story. Everything was about to change. You could just feel the mood in the community shift from excitement to, well, deep concern. Oracle's plans were really unclear, and then reports of major layoffs of the core developers started surfacing around 2017. That sent a pretty clear signal. The Solaris they all knew and loved was probably gone for good.
See, Oracle had a very specific new vision for Solaris. It was no longer going to be this general-purpose OS for everyone. Instead, it was being repositioned as a highly tuned, super-optimized platform for Oracle's own cash cows, like its database software and Java.
And this strategy did have its wins. According to Oracle, this tight enterprise focus paid off. They even point to a financial services company that apparently saw a 16-fold efficiency gain managing their virtual machines on the new Oracle Solaris.
But when Oracle closed the door on Open Solaris, they kind of accidentally opened another one. The really passionate community of developers who had poured years of their lives into the project, they just refused to let it die.
And that led to something we call a fork in the software world. If you're not familiar, just think of it like a split in a timeline or a fork in the road. A group of developers takes the existing source code at a specific point in time, copies it, and then starts their own completely independent project, taking it in a whole new direction. And the foundation for this fork was that last version of the Solaris source code that Sun had released to the public. It was just out there, available for anyone to grab and use.
So Oracle took that code, kept developing it behind closed doors, and eventually released it as their proprietary, enterprise-focused product, Solaris 11.
But this is where you really see the power of open source shine. A whole community of engineers grabbed that very same code base and forked it. They created a brand new project called Illumos, and their goal was simple: to keep the original spirit of Open Solaris alive as a totally open, community-driven operating system.
So now, today, the legacy of that original Sun Microsystems powerhouse is still very much alive, but it's living on two completely parallel tracks. And you can really see the two different philosophies right here, side by side. On one path, you have Oracle Solaris, marketed as simple, secure, and engineered specifically for Oracle's world. And on the other path, you have Illumos, the true open-source continuation of Open Solaris, driven by a passionate community of engineers.
And that Illumos branch is so vibrant. It spawned a whole bunch of different distributions, and each one has its own focus. You've got projects like Open Indiana, which aims to be a direct successor for desktops and servers, and then others like SmartOS, which is all about cloud virtualization. The original DNA of Solaris is alive and kicking, just in many different forms.
Which, brings us right back to that question from the beginning. The story of Solaris really makes you think, what is the true legacy of a piece of software? Is it the company that holds the trademark, or is it the code itself, this living, breathing thing that a dedicated community can pick up and carry forward no matter what happens to the company that started it all? It's a question that really gets to the very heart of what the open source world is about.